Hello and welcome. Here we talk about meditation. Meditation and the benefits of meditation. But what we need to do, or what we can do, to support that practice of meditation. So meditation is based on a foundation of moral virtue, which is supportive of wholesome mind states and assists with removing, pushing out, eradicating unwholesome mind states. So we gear our lives towards doing good, and this supports meditation. Our practice of meditation, in turn, supports us in that process of reducing unwholesome mind states and developing what is already inherently good within us. Kindness, love, compassion, joy, happiness, contentment. These are all our natural states of being, but covered over with so much distraction, largely as a result of our own doing. So this process of reducing unwholesome mind states, replacing those with wholesome mind states, is about uncovering that natural inherent goodness within us. And this is the intention, the purpose behind meditation. It isn't just some esoteric, magical, spiritual experience of all kinds of otherworldly phenomena. It isn't just about peaceful, calm, tranquil states of mind, but benefiting from peaceful, tranquil, calm states of mind, we call in the Pali language samatha, as a result of our meditation practice. Once again, letting go, putting down all that distracts and covers up that natural, inherent state of being. And exposing the true qualities of our existence and seeing them closely in reality through this experiential practice of meditation. Now, so often people ask, well, I don't have time in the day to just sit and meditate. And when I do, my life is so busy, filled and occupied with so many other things. My mind will never stop racing. Well, the first step towards a solution for this is to find a time in the day that is both practical and also conducive towards meditation practice. Now, of course, last thing in the evening before you go to sleep is great, but it is preceded by such a lot of activity, worldly activity. Your mind can often be still racing as a result of that, or whatever it is you've been doing to calm yourself down from that day throughout the evening prior to sitting. So the ideal time is very early in the morning. And I know it's very difficult, especially if it's cold. It's even colder or cooler than normal here at the moment. And at around 3 a.m. when I ordinarily get up, I think, why don't I just get up a little bit later today? When it's warmer or when the rain has stopped. After all, I've got plenty of time until 6 o'clock when I normally begin my day with morning puja, and 6:30 when I go on alms round to collect my food for the day. But no, the incentive is, well, meditation. That is enjoyable. It should be something, it can be something we look forward to and enjoy. But we'll never know that if we don't try that. Once again, it's experiential. Don't believe me. The Buddha even tells us not to believe the Buddha, but to try it for ourselves, experience it for ourselves. Now, this morning, just as I was lighting the candles, lighting the incense, before I put the spotlights on, the stage lights, if you like, for recording this talk, it's dark, it's relatively cool, the mosquitoes haven't woken yet, the flies are yet to become busy, there is the odd wanderings in and out of the local community of stray cats and other creatures that live here in the jungle. But other than that, the crickets you can probably hear in the background, I'm not sure, that high-pitched sort of ongoing tone. It isn't the sound of silence. It isn't some exterior worldly force. It is little creatures rubbing their legs together, letting each other know that they're content and they're happy and they're enjoying life and that they're safe, communicating. We don't understand it, but that is largely what communication is about. Sharing with others our own experience, good and bad, pleasant or unpleasant, but with a view to assisting each other. And there it is, kindness, loving kindness. This is what we call in the Pali language metta. When something needs help, helping, or even if we can't help, we want to help. That's compassion, karuna. You see, it's naturally there, isn't it? And when someone is successful in their life, or even a little creature, not a human, achieves something, a squirrel finds some nuts or a banana you've left for it and is enjoying it, you feel happy. You're not enjoying the nuts or the banana, but the squirrel is. It makes you happy. This is joy for another being, mudita. And from this we develop the fourth of these 4 Brahma Viharas, heavenly abodes, states of being, of equanimity. In the Pali language is upekkha. And it is this equanimity which is, as well as sila, moral virtue, the foundation for our mindfulness and our samadhi, our meditation, and also is developed by mindfulness and samadhi, our meditation. Samasati, right mindfulness, samasamadhi, right concentration or meditation, are the last 2 parts, but also the first two parts of the Noble Eightfold Path. It isn't a ladder leading somewhere, although it is leading us towards Nibbana by living within its parameters in accordance with the instructions and the teachings of the Buddha. But it's circular, because Samadhi, right view, leads to, from the understanding of the Four Noble Truths, inclusive of the Noble Eightfold Path, once again, a circular, cyclical instruction. Not step 1 to 8, but more step 1 following through to 1 again. But the understanding, in right view, of karma, that we do good, we receive good. We do bad, we receive bad. And the nature of cause and effect, karma is actions, pachaya is causes and conditions. By those actions we put in place for future results, whether it be within this lifetime or in future rebirths into samsara, into whichever realm that may be, animal, human, heavenly. But all we have currently is this present moment, here and now. So we don't need to speculate on what happens next, let alone what happens in the next life as a result of our rebirth, or even whether there is or isn't. There will, as a result of practice, meditation, come the understanding that there's no other alternative than there being results of causes and conditions you put in place, consequently rebirth, whether it's moment to moment within this life or into the next. But this is the understanding, this is right view, and how this physical body and this thinking brain is not us. That is personality view, Sakkaya Ditthi. But Samadhi, right view, is the full understanding, as I was talking about last week, of these 5 khandhas that make up this experience of existence in the human realm. And I've spoken of that many times, so I won't go into those again now, but that is right view. And it is that understanding of karma, rebirth, of the Four Noble Truths and this practice, the Noble Eightfold Path, included in that, the Four Noble Truths, that gives us right intention. The second step on this Noble Eightfold Path, that right intention to do good. So if we make an intention, or even go further with a determination, in Pali we call that adhitthana. I mention these Pali words because they come up time and time again in little lists we have, very useful little checklists, not to-do lists, but checklists in Buddhism, like the Noble Eightfold Path. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right effort, right livelihood, right mindfulness, right concentration. Boom, 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 boom. 8 things. When you've learned that, you remember that. It's a checklist throughout all of your daily activities. Or what I just said, was that within the parameters and in accordance with the Noble Eightfold Path? Or where does that come? Number 3, right speech. And what is right speech? Speaking kindly, timely, appropriately, truthfully, without a divisive nature or qualities, directly to those whom you're addressing and not about them whilst they do not know what you're saying. All of these aspects of right speech can be considered in a few seconds without narrating it in your mind, without thinking of it, purely because we have this wonderful ability to access these checklists, which are the Dharma, are the words, the teachings of the Buddha. and consequently the way we can gear and order our lives, structure our lives to support meditation. So when in here, first thing this morning, lighting the candles and the incense, the quietude of the meditation hall here, Samadhi Sala. But you too, in your own homes, can make in the corner somewhere, out of the way, a little shrine, the tiniest of little Buddha images, or maybe a little pot with a flower in, or a pot plant. Something where you can have a candle or a light of some kind that's safe, maybe some incense if it's appropriate for where you're living. Just set aside a space that you can sit. It isn't a form of prayer, it isn't a form of worship, it is an action that however you wake up, however you feel, however reluctant you are for getting out of bed when it's a little bit cold in the morning, when you sit in front of that area, you have mindfulness and you have good intentions. Already 2 aspects of the Noble Eightfold Path. But it is supported by the peace and quietude of 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning, where it is mostly, in most places, relative to the rest of the day, the most peaceful and quiet time. When you can be alone with your thoughts, with your feelings, physical feelings, with your emotions, that is mental feelings. Understanding what it is you want, understanding what it is you don't want, seeing that clearly. We have another Pali word for that, vipassana, to see clearly. Before you even begin meditation. Now, enjoying this morning, it brought that to mind, how beautiful this time of day really is. You'll find in some places there are noises, there is activity. Maybe it's the man delivering the milk or the bread, or the people getting up especially early to cook, prepare food for whatever events or things are occurring early the next day. But these are just subtle sounds that you can put to that description only. Sound, ears hearing sound, without forming any judgment or liking or disliking towards what is just a wholesome activity. More often than not, people who are awake very early in the morning are awake for very good intentions. I'm not talking about those who haven't gone to sleep yet and who are creeping home, creeping back, like the nocturnal stray cats around here who are all creeping back really after busy nights of all kinds of activities. But those who have made the determination and intention, wholesome determination to just wake up early, to start their day with meditation. And then you can sit uninterrupted for probably an hour before it's even 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, which may be even an hour or 2 before you ordinarily might wake. Oh, but Bhante, I hear you say, we'd have no sleep, we're so tired, we don't get to sleep until 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. That's okay, you can look at that. What were you doing from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock or from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock? Was it something you had to be doing? Was it a responsibility? Was it a duty? in which case it's necessary, and that's okay also. You can still wake up at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. No one's begrudging you that. We're talking about structuring your day comfortably and in accordance with your existing lifestyle and pattern and routine, not changing anything, but taking for yourself and giving to yourself out of kindness that extra hour or two early in the morning to what we call practice. But practice is such a overused and insipid term. Or I practiced today. Or he's such a good practitioner. He's got good practice. What does that mean? It's too unspecific. The practice is the Noble Eightfold Path. And that can be summarized as sila, moral virtue, samadhi, meditation, panya, wisdom. Those three categories encompass all 8 steps of that Noble Eightfold Path. Our Noble Eightfold Path, given to us by our teacher, the Buddha, with whom we've taken refuge in. For the Dharma, his words, his teachings, in which we take refuge, comfort in knowing we have these checklists, we have the four Noble Truths, the Noble Eightfold Path, the 4 Brahma Viharas. We have understanding about ourselves and our thinking process and these physical feelings and mental emotions through understanding 5 khandhas or 5 aggregates, 7 factors of enlightenment, what we're aiming towards. There are so many of these checklists to help us and assist us. This is the Dharma, and we can truly, can't we, take refuge in that? People take refuge in a shopping list, don't they? They write a shopping list before they go to the supermarket. If they get to the supermarket and they've left their shopping list at home, they feel naked, they feel uncomfortable, they feel out of place, insecure, because the shopping list, what they had to buy, their groceries, such a mundane thing, gives them comfort in that they know they have instructions as to what to do, walking from aisle to aisle to aisle, and what to pick up and what to take, what they need to buy. It's a refuge in a list. And that is what we mean by taking refuge in the Dharma. It gives us that security, that comfort, that protection. Clothing. Enabling us really to walk through life confidently. Confidently, yeah. Faith. Saddha. We translate as a Pali word. We translate as faith, saddha. But what it really means is confidence. So with this refuge we've taken in our teacher, not as a being, he's long since attained to parinibbana and is thus no more, thus gone. His name he gave himself is the Tathagata, thus gone. That is, he existed, he was, he is now no longer. Has attained to parinibbana. Final nibbana, with no further rebirth, no presence in this realm or within samsara, other than by his legacy, which he has left us. So it is that notion of a previous form the Buddha had, we take refuge in, but his Dharma, that is the refuge protecting us, giving us confidence, faith, saddha. And it is this confidence, this faith, this saddha, that makes meditation, samadhi, so much easier than we might think it would be. oh, well, for meditation, I have to get up early in the morning, I have to sit and strain and force myself to not think, not feel, not do anything for a certain amount of time. And at the end of it, thank goodness that is over. It isn't like that. If it is like that, it isn't being done correctly. We want to get up early because we can then enjoy going to our corner of our place where we live, turning on the light or the candle, lighting the incense, maybe bowing to an image of a Buddha, to mindfully respect but remind ourselves of the qualities and what that previous being in this realm attained to, by way of a focus of direction for ourselves. And then understand and put into practice his Dharma, his teachings, as exemplified by the Sangha, the monks, the bhikkhus, the nuns, the bhikkhunis, whom here today, in their present form, maintain that same form as they did and as did the closest disciples of the Buddha, whom walked with him, talked with him, and learned the Dharma directly from him 2,570 years ago in northeast India, over a 45-year period. And then subsequently, by ordaining other people wishing to dedicate their lives to this practice, formed this lineage we call the Sangha. From that Arya Sangha, the original noble Sangha, came the Sangha we are able to take refuge in today. As a whole, not individual monks or nuns or personalities or characters or particular teachers which we have to support us and we have allegiances to or we have confidence in by their own specific individual examples they set, but the Sangha as a whole, representative of the Dharma and the Buddha, which they follow to the letter with very strict abidance to a very strict code of conduct, very specific to bhikkhus and bhikkhunis. That's very important to know, that those teachers in robes, monks or nuns, are practicing, and they're practicing what they preach. What they're teaching you is coming from a place of experience. Their knowledge is coming from having tried it for themselves, as the Buddha encourages us all to do. So think about waking early in the morning and finding that peaceful time of day when even if you don't attain to deep levels of absorbed samadhi, your experience will be so much different to that experienced throughout the rest of the day. When all the things people complain about getting in the way of their meditation or their practice, as you put it, are less prominent, and in most cases not even there to interrupt you. Then you can see what practice is. It's sila, moral virtue, it's meditation, and it's wisdom, but not intellectual knowledge. It is the developing of wholesome mind states and reduction of unwholesome mind states. Exposing, uncovering the natural qualities within us. So we'll move on to the comments now. And the first one, always, whatever the question, it's relevant to Dharma. So here we go. Is it okay to feed the cat or stray cats, according to Buddhism. Or, since you are doing something for a being, you are also being trapped by the world. Siding traps somehow. So I think there may be a mistranslation there, but I understand what you're asking. It is okay, and not just in accordance with Buddhism, but in accordance with goodness, nature, humanity, from which we get the word being humane, yes? It is always okay to feed, where we can, anything or anyone, any beings. Whether you're Buddhist, Muslim, Christian, or whatever. If you're humane and you can, and something needs food, you give. This is kindness, this is metta, this is loving kindness. And in accordance with Buddhism, we teach you, we train ourselves how to uncover those natural Brahma Viharas, those heavenly realms within us of loving kindness, compassion, joy for others, and equanimity, as I was just talking about. So of course, feeding a stray cat or a dog is developing kindness, loving kindness, through the action of generosity, for which we have the Pali word dana. So people offer dana to the Sangha, Sangha dana, to support the Sangha, because they have no income, no livelihood, other than going on Pindapata to receive the food they need each day, which is in turn is dana. It's the generosity of others that fill the monk or the nun's bowl for them to survive another day. So there is nothing trapping you in samsara by giving, offering dana, generosity, developing that quality. This is developing wholesome mind states, freeing attachment through unwholesome mind states to the defilements. The defilements, the root causes of our suffering, are greed, hatred, and delusion. In the Pali, lobha, dosa, moha. And greed is not wanting to be generous and give. So by giving, we're dispelling any greedy, inherent tendencies we may have developed, largely through nurture rather than nature, because naturally we are kind and generous. But we've been educated, I shouldn't say educated, but brought up from a very early age to protect what we have. What we have is ours. What we have gained we must hold on to and keep. And yes, we are taught also to be kind and to share, but always with a view of holding something back. If there's a big piece of cake and a small piece of cake, it might be your natural tendency to give the small piece of cake. And through this practice, we turn that about, we turn that upside down. You'll always want to give the larger piece of cake, because you know the smaller piece of cake is enough for your own needs. So there's nothing trapping you or sliding you anywhere into samsara by practicing generosity, but always with wisdom. Don't allow wild animals or stray animals to become too dependent on you. Leave the doors open for them to support themselves. Don't take a stray dog into your home, feed it, and never let it out to fend for itself again, or a stray cat or any other wild animal. Because if you're no longer there, as will be the case certainly, either through aging, sickness and death, or you just moving on to somewhere else, then that creature may have lost its natural instincts and ability to feed itself and suffer. So you've interfered negatively with nature. So always with wisdom, feed and help through generosity others, but in a way that they maintain their own independence. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's very beneficial to the creatures and to yourself. You're exercising, you're practicing generosity. You're developing the practice, as I said, is sila, samadhi, panya. In that sense, you're developing wholesome mind states, reducing unwholesome mind states. The very act of giving is you're giving, and you get a good, happy feeling giving. But you're also eradicating the nature, the hindrance, the defilement of greed in the same process. You can't be greedy and give at the same time. And always, with this awareness we're developing through meditation practice, we're eradicating the bad and increasing and developing the good. So if we have a natural tendency towards greediness or hatred, then our awareness of that tends to reduce our greediness. Oh, I'm aware I'm being a bit greedy now. We then feel uncomfortable about being greedy, and we're less greedy. Or we really hate something or someone, and we're aware of that, so we're then less inclined to hate so much that something or someone, because we're exposing it through awareness. Whereas if we're practicing kindness, generosity, dana, and we see that through awareness, we notice that, and this is mindfulness, samasati, in practice, it exemplifies it, it exaggerates it, it blows it up, it increases it, it doesn't eradicate it. Mindfulness, awareness, conscious awareness, directly applied to our positive attributes, generosity, loving kindness, compassion, increases those attributes. Whereas when applied to our defilements, it decreases them. This is just the natural order of things. We don't talk about this often, but you can put it into practice and see for yourself how that works. By feeding that stray cat, you're developing generosity. And generosity only increases. You look for more opportunities to help. Whereas if you were mean and greedy, if you made yourself really fully aware of that, you'd try and eradicate that mean and greediness and stinginess because you'd feel uncomfortable about it. It's all part of our natural tendency towards survival. We can't survive on the defilements. We can exist, but we cannot develop. But on the Brahma Viharas of loving kindness, compassion, joy for others, and these qualities, we thrive, we develop, we flower, we flourish, we bear fruit, we reap the fruit that we have sown through those good actions. Oh, this old chestnut, what happened to your finger? Cutting hazel sticks in the forest, I cut it off. We won't go into that one again. It's a long, long time ago and it doesn't matter. Is the production of the music the production of the music is a contribution to destruction and thus an unwholesome activity. No. So, right livelihood, if your livelihood is the music industry, there's nothing wrong with the production of music. In fact, it's a very wholesome activity. There is nothing wrong with the enjoyment of music and listening to music, playing, singing, dancing, all of these things. These are only when one takes the 8 precepts, and as a lay practitioner, that need only be once a week or twice a month or once a month, if at all, when that aids your practice because you're not distracting your thoughts by absorbing in music or entertainment, which are prohibited in the 8 precepts, but the 8 precepts only, just in order to free your time and your mind to put towards the practice of Sila, Samadhi, Panya, but primarily supportive of meditation. There is nothing wrong, morally wrong, with anything outside of the 5 precepts. So the 5 precepts, no killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, or taking of intoxicants, are morally abhorrent, the first 4. The 5th can lead, by intoxicating your mind, you can very easily succumb to breaking the other 4, killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, or lying, and therefore it is also prohibited. But not eating in the afternoon, not listening to music or having any entertainment and beautification, dressing up, and not sleeping in high and luxurious places, the other 3 precepts on top of the 5, are not morally abhorrent. You can do those things, and ordinarily people do those things in lay life as lay practitioners perfectly well and enjoy those functions of life. And that is normal, that is okay. So production of music is not contributing to destruction. If you are using music as a way of, enforcing or propagating your wrong view. So you're suggesting through music how people act wrongly, maybe invoking people to riot or go to war or fight or protest negatively, then that is not music itself, it's just using the form of music for wrong action. But most music is directed towards also developing wholesome mind states and reducing unwholesome mind states by having a feel-good factor about it. Most music you listen to makes you feel good, not through greed, not through hatred, and not even through delusion, ignorance. Often verse, lyrics in music are very pertinent, are very, can be educational, informative, often not at all, often nonsense. But mostly, music can be used as a way of learning, understanding. So there's nothing wrong with music. But when one dedicates one's life to the practice really wholeheartedly, you'll find that you'll become disenchanted with certain worldly activities, such as entertainment and listening to music and socializing in those environments that are based on entertainment and music. For instance, clubs and bars and nightlife. Singing and dancing and socializing in those ways will become less attractive to you because you find better ways to develop wholesome mind states and reduce unwholesome mind states through this practice. But music in itself isn't a bad thing or an unwholesome activity and helps many people. But if you live in a monastery, you're unable to listen to music, or you shouldn't be listening to music, and eventually you'll not want to. You'll see how it is what distracts us from seeing the reality. But the reason we have that distraction from seeing the reality is because we don't want to see the suffering. We don't want to face the discomfort, the unsatisfaction. We'd rather cover it over. But only by seeing, facing, and uncovering the discomfort or the satisfaction, the dissatisfaction, the suffering, can we identify its cause. Its cause being the result of our defilements, of greed, of hatred, of delusion, of wanting what we haven't got enough of, wanting more of, or not wanting a situation to be as it is, wanting things to be otherwise. We can only see this clearly if we take away all distractions from seeing that clearly. Now, with our headphones on, listening to our music, deeply absorbed in our favourite tunes, flicking from one to the next, as soon as we get bored of one, we find another to give us a similar stimulation. And the process goes on. We're not paying attention, we're not seeing clearly what caused us to want to obscure the experience we were having. So by turning it all off, we can see clearly, eventually, that experience, and experientially learn how to remove that suffering, reduce that suffering through the training. It's a gradual process. Oh, cats again. Those cats' names are superb. How do you come up with them? Well, they're not my cats, and they're not the cats' names, and I don't know what the cats' names are, but I just give them nicknames that identify them. So one is kind of spotty and dotty, so it's called Spotty Dotty. One squeaks, so it's called Squeaky. But they're all called those nicknames. That's how it's their characteristics. So it's not their names. And I usually call them Puddy Cats for their longer name. So Squeaky Pops is a puddy cat. It's just terms of endearment. But if I have visitors here, I can't often remember their names, and similarly, they will have nicknames also. Not necessarily spoken, but in my mind, that's how I remember people, through their characteristics. And we're not talking about the deep dharma and characteristics of existence, but on the face of it, the physical characteristics of people and their personalities. So, I'm English monk, for instance. That's, you don't know necessarily what my bhikkhu ordained name is. Many don't. But they know I'm English monk, only because I'm from England and I'm a monk. That's it. So English monk will do. Welsh monk, Canadian monk, French monk. There we go. For a while I was called gypsy monk because I lived the life of a gypsy, a traveller, really, living in a van, travelling around places and of no fixed abode. But I wasn't an ordained bhikkhu, so I was more gypsy than bhikkhu, albeit keeping all of the bhikkhu monk precepts. I didn't have a Pali name, but I was often referred to by people I knew in those circles as gypsy monk, because I was more a monk than an ordinary traveller. But being a bit of a traveller was also a bit of a nomad, a bit of a gypsy. So we just have these nicknames. Sometimes it's quite a good way also of identifying characteristics in ourselves, isn't it? Now, a question about meditation here. What about a persistent runny nose? What about it? What's the question? Ask yourself. So, is it annoying you? Then no, it is annoying you. What's going to happen? Are you going to die? No. It's going to keep running and running and running. The snot may go into your mouth, or it may dribble down your chin eventually and onto your clothes. Maybe prior to meditation, blow your nose. Take with you into meditation a handkerchief or some tissue if you're needing to keep your clothes protected. But if not, if you're at home alone and you're warm enough, take your top off and just sit there, let the nose run. Let it pour. What's wrong with that? Does it matter? Don't keep sniffing it up, it's just going to make it worse. Just let it run. As long as you can breathe, which you usually can with a persistent runny nose, unlike a blocked nose, in which case you just breathe through your mouth or the nostril that is available. Notice it, be aware of it, and notice how you don't like it, your aversion towards a runny nose. And what is the aversion based on? It's not painful, is it? It's not even uncomfortable. Identify what it is you don't like about a runny nose. Is it because you're in company and you're afraid of what other people might think? Well, that's really Sakkaya Ditthi, isn't it? Personality view. What does it matter? Why are they even looking at your nose? If you're meditating, shouldn't it be that they are meditating also? Unless you're in another environment where people are not meditating, in which case this wouldn't be the time to meditate. Go elsewhere and find somewhere to meditate alone. And let your nose run persistently. It doesn't matter. Okay, that's a very long project, that question, I would say. As is that. So I'm going to just skip through those two, and we can come back to those tomorrow. And someone's thanking me for answering the questions about karma, but how to let go. Well, we can't do something negative. So we don't not do something. Not doing something is not doing something. So letting go shouldn't be seen as doing something. Letting go should be seen as not holding on. So we rephrase it. How do we not hold on tightly to something? There, what's your answer? It's let go. So to let go, you just don't hold on tightly. It can be to anything. Material possessions, or even a view. Even right view, one can hold too tightly and become conceited, become righteously indignant, right, what's that term? Well, think that you're better than others, increasing personality view because you have right view. That's very much wrong view, isn't it? Because you're holding it too tightly. So we think about it as holding a little baby bird or even an egg, something very fragile. We need to hold it, support it, in order that it doesn't fly away, but without harming it or breaking it. We support it in the palm of our hand upwards like this, figuratively speaking. We don't grab it and hold it tightly like this, which would harm the little bird or break the egg. This is how we let go. Now, you don't say regarding specifically to what you're referring to with letting go, but anything that is negative, considered based on the defilements of greed, of hatred and delusion, delusion being harder to see by the very nature that we're deluded. So we dispel delusion by developing wisdom, seeing the characteristics of existence, understanding right view, but then not holding tightly to right view, but letting it support you, let it hold you. So how do we let go? Also through humility. Taking refuge in the Triple Gem. The Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha supports humility. The giving of yourself through saddha, faith that I spoke about. Confidence in the Dharma and the Sangha. Because they came from our teacher, the Buddha, whom demonstrated through his own practice, living within this human realm, how one can attain to Nibbana through enlightenment. And showed us the way how to experientially see this for ourselves. Then any other preconceived ideas or views you held to will naturally be let go of. If you pick up a hot piece of coal, do you need to ask me how to let go of that? No. You're just going to immediately let go of it, if you can. If something is creating negative mind states, unwholesome mind states, once you know that, you've started to dispel delusion, you will naturally let go of what that is that was creating those negative, unwholesome mind states. So, to let go, we just stop holding on. We stop holding tightly. We loosen our grip. Rather than trying to let go, we just don't hold on. What about smoking? Is smoking an intoxicant or a stimulant? Can one be a Buddhist and a smoker at the same time? Have you ever smoked? Yes, I used to smoke a lot. I used to smoke like a chimney. And I've smoked all sorts of things, from bananas to marijuana to tobacco. I can't think of anything else, but probably if there was something that could be smoked, I smoked it. And I make cigarettes out of anything that I had to hand. So yes, I've smoked pipes, cigarettes, roll-ups. Not so much the factory-made ones, because I didn't like them. But yes, one can be a Buddhist and smoke. One can be a Buddhist monk and smoke. Many of the monks you'll see in Thailand after the meal will have a cigarette. It is, yes, a stimulant like caffeine, like coffee, like tea. Nicotine, caffeine, same family, in stimulants rather than intoxicants. Now, I'm not condoning smoking. After all, I gave it up many, many years ago because it's very bad for your health. It's unpleasant to be around for other people who don't smoke, probably. And there is just nothing positive about it. It's very expensive. I would imagine these days it was very expensive, I don't know, 15, 16, 17, I don't know, even now 20 years ago when I last smoked. It was expensive then, so heaven knows how expensive it might be now. So there's nothing positive about it, so I wouldn't encourage it, but it's not breaking any precepts. And even monks to this day smoke still. You see them on even on YouTube, those monks smoke, because it's not considered breaking a precept. It's sociably acceptable in places, many places still these days also. The world is a very big place. There are very many different cultures. We're all living in harmony to some extent. But when you go and live in different environments and different cultures, you have to really immerse yourself in that culture if you want to be there or expect to be there for any length of time. And you'll see how very different and what different priorities people put on things in the way they live and the way society is structured. Where I'm from is very different to where I am now. But essentially, humanity, where I'm from and where I am now, is the same. It has the same defilements, lobha, dosa, moha, greed, hatred and delusion. The same problems in that respect to tackle. They just manifest themselves in different exterior, material, mundane ways. But what we're working with the Dharma, what we're practicing, is all towards the same goal, the same end. Eradicating greed, hatred and delusion, lobha, dosa, moha. Together, supportive of each other and each other's practice, that is sila, samadhi, panya. So I hope there's something useful there to help you do that. And if so, please use it. But if not, don't hold on tightly to something you disagree with. Let it go. And put it aside. Concentrate on what is useful. But please come back tomorrow and listen to some more. And subscribe if you haven't, if that's what you do, if that's what I'm supposed to say. But I think it's a useful way of having a little list of what you want to listen to next. That's how I do it with the very few channels I listen to, Dharma talks from. I just subscribe so that when there is one that comes up, I know it's on a little list. I don't have notifications, I turn those off, but I don't think I'm supposed to say that, it doesn't matter. And anyway, now I'm waffling. Until next time, be happy and stay well. Sukhi Hotu. I'll go and feed some stray cats.